In the shadows of ancient battlefields, a tale unfolds that often goes unheard, a tale of vengeance, legacy, and the echoes of a giant's fall. Goliath, the formidable warrior, met his fate at the hands of a shepherd boy, but what happened next? The Rephaim were a tribe of formidable giants mentioned in ancient texts, and Goliath was perhaps the most famous among them. These giants were not just ordinary warriors, they embodied a fierce legacy that loomed large over the battlefield. Their presence invoked fear, and their size was a physical testament to their might. The history of the Rephaim is intertwined with tales of epic battles, particularly between the Philistines and the Israelites, which adds a layer of intrigue to Goliath's story. To understand Goliath's role, one must delve into the very essence of what it meant to be a Rephaim. In the context of the ongoing disputes between the Philistines and the Israelites, the Rephaim served as a symbol of both strength and intimidation. Goliath, standing at an impressive height, was not just a warrior, he was a representative of his people. His presence on the battlefield signified the might of the Philistines and posed a direct challenge to the Israelite forces. This historical backdrop sets the stage for the legendary encounter between Goliath and David, highlighting the stakes involved for both sides. Moreover, the Rephaim's lineage lends a mythical quality to the narrative. As descendants of giants, they were often viewed as larger-than-life figures, existing at the intersection of history and legend. This perception influenced how their battles were recorded and remembered. The stories of the Rephaim, including Goliath's, were passed down through generations, shaping cultural narratives and contributing to the collective memory of both the Israelites and the Philistines. The significance of Goliath's lineage goes beyond mere physical prowess. It also reflects the broader themes of identity and legacy. For the Philistines, Goliath was not just an individual, he was a symbol of their heritage, representing the power and ferocity of the Rephaim. This cultural significance made his eventual defeat all the more impactful, as it challenged the very foundation of what it meant to be a Philistine warrior, altering the course of their history. In ancient cultures, the concept of vengeance was deeply ingrained, often viewed as a necessary means to restore family honor. The death of Goliath at the hands of David ignited a burning desire for retribution among his family, particularly his brothers. For them, this was not merely a personal loss, it was an affront to their lineage and their status as warriors. The quest for vengeance was a way to reclaim their family's dignity and assert their place in a world governed by strength and honor. The pursuit of vengeance within Goliath's family illustrates the lengths to which individuals would go to defend their honor. It wasn't uncommon for families to engage in blood feuds, perpetuating cycles of violence that were hard to break. Goliath's brothers, fueled by a sense of duty and loyalty, would feel compelled to avenge their fallen kin, marking their actions as both personal and communal. This cultural expectation underscores the complexities of family loyalty and the moral dilemmas faced by those living in a warrior society. Moreover, the idea of honor was intricately tied to one's reputation. For the Rephaim, being perceived as weak or dishonorable was a fate worse than death. Goliath's defeat by a young shepherd boy challenged the very essence of their warrior ethos. In this context, the brothers' pursuit of vengeance was not just about personal grief. It was a fight to uphold their family's legacy in the face of an overwhelming challenge. The stakes were high, and the consequences of failure loomed large. The narrative of vengeance also serves to highlight the broader themes of conflict and rivalry that permeated the ancient world. In a landscape marked by battles and bloodshed, the desire for revenge often fueled further violence, perpetuating a cycle that was difficult to escape. Goliath's family, like many others, found themselves caught in this relentless tide, driven by the need to respond to perceived slights and injustices. The story of David defeating Goliath has become a shining symbol of faith and the triumph over seemingly insurmountable obstacles. It's a classic tale that resonates with many, illustrating how a young shepherd, armed only with a sling and a handful of stones, could take down a towering giant. This narrative highlights the idea that faith can empower even the most unlikely of heroes. David's unwavering belief in his abilities and his God allowed him to face Goliath, a monster of a man, without fear. It's a powerful reminder that courage and conviction can level the playing field, no matter how daunting the challenge. The dynamics between the weak and the strong are vividly portrayed in this epic confrontation. David represents the underdog, while Goliath epitomizes brute strength and intimidation. Yet, it's not merely a physical battle, it's a clash of ideologies. David's faith signifies a deeper spiritual strength that transcends physical attributes. This theme reverberates through various cultures, reinforcing the idea that success is not solely determined by size or power, but also by heart and determination. People often find inspiration in David's victory, using it as a metaphor for overcoming their own life challenges. Moreover, this speaks to the universal struggle against fear and self-doubt. When faced with obstacles that feel overwhelming, many can relate to David's journey. His victory encourages individuals to confront their fears head-on, no matter how formidable they may seem. It's about taking that first step, much like David did, and believing that success is possible. The tale teaches that sometimes it's the faith in oneself and the support from a higher power that can lead to success against all odds. Additionally, the narrative invites reflection on the nature of heroism. In a world often glorifying physical prowess, David's story reminds us that true strength lies in conviction and moral integrity. His willingness to stand up for what he believed in, despite the risk, sets a precedent for future generations. It challenges the notion of what it means to be a hero, suggesting that anyone willing to fight for their beliefs, regardless of their stature, can embody heroic qualities. The death of Goliath marked a significant turning point in the long-standing conflict between the Philistines and the Israelites. While Goliath was a fearsome warrior, his defeat symbolized a shift in power dynamics. The Philistines, who had relied on Goliath's strength, found themselves at a disadvantage, and this loss likely fueled resentment and anger among them. The aftermath of this event ignited further hostilities, as the Philistines sought to avenge their fallen champion. This cycle of vengeance only deepened the animosity between the two peoples, laying the groundwork for future clashes. The implications of Goliath's death extended beyond the battlefield. They permeated the very fabric of the cultural identities of both the Philistines and the Israelites. For the Israelites, David's victory became a rallying point, inspiring unity and bolstering morale. This newfound confidence encouraged them to take further action against the Philistines, leading to a series of military campaigns. On the other hand, for the Philistines, Goliath's demise was an affront to their pride and honor, compelling them to retaliate with increased ferocity. This ongoing conflict became a defining feature of their shared history. Moreover, the narrative of David and Goliath serves as a microcosm of the broader struggle for dominance in the region. The Philistines, often portrayed as the aggressors, and the Israelites, seen as the underdogs, represent the archetypal conflict between oppressors and the oppressed. Each encounter between these two groups was not merely about territorial disputes. It was about survival, identity, and the quest for recognition. The stakes were high, as each victory or defeat had far-reaching consequences for both sides. As the rivalry intensified, it also fostered a sense of legacy and memory among both peoples. The Philistines would remember Goliath not just as a champion, but as a symbol of their collective identity. The Israelites, conversely, would venerate David as a hero, the one who not only defeated a giant, but also ushered in an era of hope and resilience. This ongoing narrative became a source of inspiration and reflection, shaping the cultural and spiritual landscapes of both groups for generations to come. The death of Goliath did not merely signify the end of one warrior's life. It ignited a firestorm of conflict that would characterize the struggle between the Philistines and Israelites. The implications of this event were profound, reinforcing the idea that battles are often about more than just physical confrontations. When we delve into the biblical narrative surrounding Goliath and the ensuing conflicts, the themes of redemption and forgiveness emerge as crucial elements. The story isn't merely about a giant slain by a young shepherd. It's about the implications of that act, both for the individuals involved and for the broader community. Goliath, representing the mighty Philistines, meets his end, but the repercussions of this event ripple through time. It forces us to consider how vengeance and hatred can perpetuate cycles of violence, often overshadowing opportunities for healing and reconciliation. The family of Goliath, particularly his brothers, faced a dilemma steeped in the desire for revenge. Their initial instinct might have been to avenge their fallen kin, perpetuating the cycle of violence rather than breaking it. Here lies the crux of the theme. How does one find the strength to forgive rather than retaliate? The narrative invites readers to reflect on the weight of familial honor versus the potential for growth and redemption. Instead of seeking vengeance, could they have chosen to honor Goliath's legacy by fostering peace? Moreover, the concept of redemption extends beyond individual actions to encompass entire communities. The ongoing conflict between the Philistines and the Israelites serves as a backdrop for exploring how cycles of hatred can be interrupted. The death of a giant like Goliath should, in theory, open a door to dialogue, yet it often leads to further entrenchment of animosity. This dynamic raises questions about how societies can heal from historical grievances, reminding us that forgiveness is not just a personal choice, but a collective journey. In the biblical context, forgiveness is not always a straightforward path. The narrative suggests a deeper understanding of divine grace and the possibility of redemption for all, including those who may seem irredeemable. Goliath's story, intertwined with themes of conflict and honor, begs us to consider how the legacy of violence can be transformed. The challenge remains: can we shift our focus from retribution to understanding, fostering a culture that values forgiveness? The legacy of Goliath and his family serves as a poignant reminder of the human condition. It prompts us to confront our own struggles with forgiveness and the desire for redemption. As we reflect on these themes, we recognize that the stories we tell and the choices we make can either perpetuate conflict or pave the way for healing. In a world rife with division, the call for redemption and forgiveness resonates now more than ever, urging us to break free from cycles of violence and embrace the possibility of a more peaceful existence. As we wrap up this intriguing chapter of biblical history, we can't help but ponder: what drives a family to seek vengeance? Goliath's brothers weren't just avenging a fallen warrior. They were fighting for their legacy, their honor, and a place in a world that seemed to turn against them. The Rephaim, with their rich history and fierce reputation, remind us that every story holds layers of complexity and emotion. Imagine the tension in the air as they plotted their revenge. Did they see David as a mere boy or a formidable foe? And what about the Israelites? How did they react to this looming threat? These questions open a window into the human experience: fear, anger, and the desire for redemption that echoes through the ages. As we reflect on these powerful themes, we invite you to consider your own life. How do you navigate the challenges that feel insurmountable? Do you lean into forgiveness, or do you feel the pull of vengeance? The stories we share today remind us that redemption is always within reach, no matter how daunting the giants may seem. Stay curious, keep exploring, and let's continue uncovering the deeper meanings hidden within these ancient tales together.